Alright guys, so I didn't get around to making that video right away. I actually had a streak there. I was pretty much sick all last week. I was able to work like half of one day. Was not fun. But anyway, I have the Vibrant Ultra Quiet Resonator right there. Going to be going to my uncle's, the shop that he manages, at about 2 o'clock, so I'm going to be leaving in about an hour. It's about a half hour, 40-minute drive from my house. Got to run some errands quick, so I'm going to be running down with the Resonator, have them. So this exhaust came with a good, like a medium-sized one, and then a little bit further down there's a really small one, and it's like, it's almost flush with the pipe. Like, it might as well not even be there. I don't think it's even doing anything. So what I'm gonna do is have them cut out that little one and put in the ultra quiet one right there, because I do like the sound of this exhaust. I don't want to get rid of the sound completely. I want to just dampen it when I'm getting on the interstate and I'm cruising on the highway at like 75, 80 miles an hour. I want to just dampen that sound. I don't want to get rid of the sound completely, because it does sound really good. I've had a lot of compliments on this thing already. People telling me they love the sound of it. It doesn't sound like your traditional 4-cylinder. It's got a nice beefy tone to it. You know, I've had a Honda, and even my Honda wasn't even that raspy, you know, like the traditional Hondas you think of. You know, it's got that really high-pitched, raspy sound. This one sounds really nice. It sounds really beefy, especially when you're just like at idle, or if you're backing up and going slow. It's got a nice gargle to it. It's got a really nice beefy tone. So I'm definitely don't want to get rid of that sound. So that's why I'm just doing that Resonator to hopefully just tame the sound a little bit. And I've heard a lot of good things about this Resonator. I've heard it even improves sound. So, you know, if it makes it sound even better, that's fine. That's good by me. So we're gonna see how that goes today. I've already showed you guys what it sounds like from, you know, right from the manufacturer, how it sounds. I'm really hoping it doesn't get rid of those pops and gurgles. It sounds really nice when I downshift and you just hear those pops and it's just gargling back there. So I will give you guys an update after I get that installed. Alright guys, well, had the Resonator put in, so it's hard to explain if you've never seen what these SRS catbacks look like for the Focus ST. Pretty much they have a good size Resonator right after the downpipe when the catback starts. They have like an average size Resonator for an aftermarket exhaust, but then after that it goes to a little bend, and then there's a little Resonator that's so small it's like 1/4 of an inch bigger than the actual pipe. So I assumed it probably wasn't doing anything, and my uncle is the manager at a local muffler shop. There's quite a few of them. It's a chain, but he's just the manager at this current one. And they, you know, took off that section of pipe. I was in the shop when they did it, and the mechanic working with him looked into it and said I was right. It wasn't doing anything because the Resonator was just a hollow tube with a little mesh grill type thing welded to the sides of the tube. It wasn't doing anything. So that's why I had so much drone on the highway. And the Vibrant Ultra Quiet Resonator, they welded it in. Took a little bit of time because the SRS piping, just to be aware if you do buy it, it's bigger than 3 inches. Because when they cut out that Resonator and they were going to weld in the new one, they had to put it over the piping because it has the 2 inlets on it that are 3-inch inlets that are meant to go over the 3-inch pipe. They're slightly big enough to go over is what they're designed for, and so you can weld it on. And they couldn't do it. They had to stretch the inlets on the resonator to get it to fit over the pipe. It's probably like 3 1/4. It's not quite 3.5 inches. It's probably 3 1/4, a little bit more. So just be aware of that if you do buy it and you do end up going the same route I did. Luckily, my uncle is the manager at that place, so they didn't charge me. He did it as kind of like a birthday gift. My birthday's coming up. But it's a lot quieter. There's like almost no drone now. You can still hear the tone of the exhaust. It's a lot quieter in the cabin, which is what I wanted, because I have 2 kids. You can probably see the car seats back there. I have kids. You know, I'm not a young single kid who can have a straight pipe, you know, ST. It sounded really good, but it was way too loud. Like, I can still hear the exhaust tone. It still has the same tone. It's still nice and deep. It's just when I drive casual, you can hear it, but it's not overpowering in the cabin, and it's not vibrating the inside of the car. But like when I get on it, it still sounds good. It doesn't, my biggest thing with it is I didn't care so much how loud it was, but the inside of the cabin was like, when you would get on it, try and get on the interstate, you know, or get on it at all, or cruising at 75, 80 miles an hour, this exhaust would just, it was almost like having a subwoofer going nonstop. That was like literally you had that feeling of like the air vibration around you. It was just vibrating the inside of the cabin. And it could have been partially because these are hatchbacks, you know, there's not really a trunk to deaden the sound at all. That's why I put the trunk lid back on. But, you know, now with that resonator there, it's so much more tolerable. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I missed the sound of it when it had that thing in there, but if it was a little quieter from the manufacturer, I would have been able to live with it. Or if I didn't have kids, it wouldn't have been that bad. So for the price of the exhaust, I definitely say go for it. And the video before, I mentioned how it was seemed a little loose, like, or with that flex pipe there, it wasn't that sturdy, so it moved a lot. My uncle noticed that me and my brother-in-law who installed it had it flipped, so it was the wrong way. It wasn't backwards, it was just turned. It wasn't facing the right way. And they just noticed that that was putting a lot of strain on that flex pipe, which made it loose. It's quite a bit sturdier now because they took that off and flipped it around, and it gave me a little bit more clearance and everything. So it's a little bit more sturdy now. They left that little rubber insulator that I put on the crossbar there. They left that on there because it's not going to hurt anything. If anything, if it loosens up over time and it clanks against that, I'm not going to hear it, and it won't damage the piping at all. But yeah, so that's kind of, that got rid of that complaint, kind of. Just make sure you're putting it on the right way. But overall, it just sounds so much quieter, more tolerable. Like I said, I love exhaust. I love loud exhaust, but I needed something. I just wanted to hear the car. I didn't, want something that was going to overpower. And, that's pretty much what I got. Like, I can still hear the tone. It still sounds really good. It doesn't sound, raspy or anything like that. It doesn't sound like an old Honda. No offense to old Hondas. I still like those cars. But it sounds way better in my opinion, it sounds better than an old Honda with, the fart cannon on the back. But, it's a lot more tolerable now. Definitely was a good investment. Because it still has has the same tone. It's actually a little bit deeper than before. I'll try and do a sound clip after a while. I'm just at Walmart right now, so I'm not gonna be revving it up in the parking lot. But yeah, see, this is the resonator that I got, and it worked like a charm. Really high quality. I think they're about $90 normally online. I had a coupon deal thing where it gave me 15% off, so it was like $79. Really high quality, did the job. You know, it's still got a nice tone to it. It's, you know, it's not so quiet like it's stock. You know, the stock exhaust is, I don't know how people think it sounds good. Maybe they're talking about the sound symposer that comes through, that they think that's the exhaust, because it's not. But maybe they think that's the sound they're referring to that sounds good, because the stock exhaust is quiet. Like, it's like any other quiet car. You rev it and it's nothing. So it sounds really good. To me, it kind of almost maybe sounds like the MBRP catback. Now, not that I was trying to copy or I went cheap or anything like that. I mean, these exhausts are still almost $400, and the MBRP one is like $450. So it's not like it's that much cheaper. You can find good deals though. You can look for them on eBay and find them for like $360 or something like that. Find them a little cheaper. I mean, the quality of the exhaust is good. I just question the flex pipe that they put in. Other than that, I'm really happy. I can hear my the K&N filter I put in. I can hear the turbo noises again. I couldn't hear them before with the exhaust, how loud it was. I couldn't hear anything. But now I can hear that turbo spool and the little blow-off sound, which is nice because I liked hearing that. Definitely is a lot more tolerable now, like I said. I'll try and do an exhaust clip later on. It's starting to rain right now, and I'm at Walmart, so I'm not going to do one now, but I'll try and get one done next couple days. Do a before and after kind of thing. Overall, I really like the fact that I can do 80 miles an hour on the interstate now and not hardly hear my exhaust. Like, I can hear it if I'm listening for it, but like having the radio up just a little bit, I can't hear it, and it's so much better. Like, you know, you don't want to be cruising. I drive 45 minutes to and from work. That's a 45-minute trip, both one way. You know, for 45 minutes, that's the last thing I want to hear is just that constant bull sound. You know, no one wants to hear that for 45 minutes straight. So this is a lot more tolerable. I think it's a little bit louder than the Cobb catback, or the Ford Performance, or Borla, I think is what it's made from. I've heard sound clips of those, and I've kind of heard some of those in person. I think it's a little bit louder than that, but it's not as loud as it was. And don't get me wrong, you know, driving in town, it sounded really good. You know, at idle, it sounded really beefy. You know, it had nice pops. The pops and crackles did go down a little bit, and that kind of saddened me. I did kind of wish it would have stayed. Like, I heard that more. I can still hear it, but it definitely dampened the sound for that. But overall, it was worth it. So, like I said, I will do a sound clip at some point to get that sound after the Resonator was installed. But yeah, overall, very happy. And I'm just starting out with this YouTube thing, so I'm doing it on my iPhone. So it's not gonna be the best angles. You know, eventually I'll get a camera and maybe work a little bit more at getting better angles and stuff like that, and sound quality. So just hang in there. Just starting out here, so if you haven't subscribed, I only have like 7 subscribers, so if you want to bump that number up to at least 10, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so catch you next time, and I'll try and get those before and after clips for you. Have a good day.